Hello and welcome to Talk Art. I'm Sally Rain and I will be your host as we delve into the world of the artist and the art that's all around us. Talk Art is sponsored by the Silicon Valley Open Studios. During the first 3 weekends in May, hundreds of local artists open their studios to the public. For more information, go to the website svos.org. For this special edition of Talk Art, we are going to take a closer look at one of the treasures of our local community, the Cantor Art Center at Stanford University. We get the opportunity to see the new exhibit, Flesh and Metal, Art of the Machine Age, through the eyes of the people who designed and curated the exhibit. Flesh and Metal is art from the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art collection in an exhibit at the Cantor Art Center. It was curated as part of an art history seminar at Stanford University. While the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art is closed for expansion, parts of its collection will be displayed at many other venues around the Bay Area and around the world. In this episode of Talk Art, we will hear the perspectives of Neil Benezra, the director of SF MoMA, Connie Wolf, the director of the Cantor Art Center, and the curators and students who created this remarkable exhibit.
So I'm Neil Benezra, director of the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, and as I think is well known, our museum is closed right now for construction, and we're expanding the museum rather dramatically, and we had the opportunity, because of the closure, to think some new thoughts about what our museum does and what we mean in our community. So we came to the conclusion that what we should try to do is to develop partnerships with other organizations, other museums around the Bay Area in particular, but also up and down the state of California and actually internationally as well. And these partnerships involve the directors of our respective museums getting together and talking about a project that we might develop, and then getting the curators working. Curator, in this case, from our museum, Janet Bishop, a couple of her colleagues, along with Hilary, who's the curator here at Cantor. And they've come up with the idea for the Flesh and Metal exhibition, which has to do with art from the 20s, basically from the 20s to the 50s. It's a wonderful kind of partnership because it allows us to share the holdings that we have, the wonderful paintings and sculptures, photographs, prints and drawings here at Cantor. It also has provided, I think, a wonderful opportunity for Stanford students, graduate students in particular, and undergraduates as well, to get involved in actually curating an exhibition. This is something that we think is a wonderful opportunity, and we couldn't be more pleased by the partnership that we have. At SF MoMA, we have one of our strongest commitments is to living artists, and especially artists from the San Francisco Bay Area and the state of California. We're making a real effort, and we have for many years now, but a special effort now to collect work by California artists and Bay Area artists, which we want to feature in the new museum. We'll have more space than ever before, and it's an opportunity for us to really restate our dedication to the art of our time. So we do this through our exhibition program. We have a wonderful program called SICA, Society for the Encouragement of Contemporary Art, which is a biannual juried exhibition, juried by our curators and friends of the museum, which features a selection of key artists, generally younger artists, but not always. And then through our various acquisition programs, we acquire work, whether it's the painting and sculpture department, the photography department, architecture and design, and media arts as well. So those are the 4 collecting strands that we have at SF MoMA. And I think we're doing a good job, and I hope we'll actually do a better job as we go forward in representing the artists of this community.
This is a very exciting season for us here at the Cantor. I think many of you were here recently for the opening of our Carrie Mae Weeks exhibition, which continues to be incredibly important for our students in the community. And so we couldn't be happier to add to our offerings this fall, this exhibition, Flesh and Metal, which is a collaboration between SF MoMA and the Cantor Art Center. As you can well imagine, having 2 teams of people come together, curators from 2 institutions to work together, provides both opportunities and challenges. And what you see as a result of those opportunities to recognize these incredible works in SF MoMA's collection that otherwise would be in storage during this time, and to bring them here to the Cantor where we could involve students and the academic community, the scholarship, the curators, the students, in thinking about this work afresh.
The artist is the intelligence behind the ideas that you see expressed, but that you'll take away from this exhibition. The curator, by, I think, judicious juxtapositions, say that 5 times fast, judicious juxtapositions, or a thoughtful installation can enhance the ideas that the artists are promoting, or stimulate a conversation between the artists, or between the viewers of the artworks. And when you have works that are of such extraordinary quality, as the SF MoMA alums that you see here, one can really up the level of chatter in the gallery. So if you hear a lot of noise coming from the galleries, it's because I imagine Leger talking to Brancusi and Ozefan talking to Duchamp. And it's really very high level chatter because the quality of these works is extraordinary. We are indeed thrilled to have them here. So thank you all to my SF MoMA colleagues for entrusting us with their children. It's really terrific.
Flesh and Metal takes its name from a front row photograph that's in the exhibition, just through those doors to your right. In all, the show includes 28 paintings, 27 photographs, 9 sculptures, and 7 works on paper by artists active in more than a dozen countries in Europe and the Americas. The works are presented here in 4 thematic sections: the body, the urban landscape, and those two sections are grouped together in one gallery, and then the object and the imagination grouped together in another gallery. Hilary and her students, these thematic frames were not intended to divide the human and the mechanical, but to allow us to comprehend more precisely the many nuances in the relationship between body and machine in art making between the 1910s and the 1950s. For our part, as at MoMA, Flesh and Metal has brought really countless opportunities to look at these artworks again and see them anew. It was really an honor to host Nancy's class for a study day in our galleries and with our conservators at SF MoMA, and a real privilege for us to be able to join Hilary and her Cantor colleagues, Patience and Mariko, and her class here on campus as the students were developing their ideas for the exhibition's interpretation and layout. We have Stanford students to thank for their really genuine curiosity and enthusiasm. They really brought so much to this project, and I'm thrilled to look around this incredibly beautiful space and see so many of the students here with us this morning. They've done a really commendable job to achieve the exhibition that we have here, which brings so much passion and creativity to the art of the early 20th century.
My name is Hilary Faberman. I'm the curator of modern and contemporary art at the Cantor Art Center. I've been here for 20 years. I started here before the museum was renovated, and actually in 1993, after the Loma Prieta earthquake, we were still wondering if we were going to be able to reopen. I've been here through 2 directors now, Tom Seligman, who hired me, and now Connie Wolf. I'm in charge or oversee all art and all media from about 1900 to yesterday. So that's prints, drawings, not photographs, unfortunately. I love photographs, but that's not my expertise or under my aegis. So to have these works from SF MoMA is a curator's dream come true, because they're really very high quality works by artists who are world renowned for their contribution to the history of art. When we were first approached by SF MoMA and told we could select whatever we wanted for an exhibition, I thought about art of the machine age, that is art between the 2 world wars, mostly because that's important topic in the study of 20th century art, European and American art, and also our collection isn't as strong as SF MoMA's. Professor Nancy Troy is the chairman of the art history department, is a specialist in this material. So she taught a class in the winter of 2013, and then we, the Curator of Education, Patience Young, and I taught a class in the spring of 2013, and really gave the students an opportunity to consider how to organize the material, how to present the material, how to write labels, how to write wall texts, what the order of things should be, basically what a curator does, what a curator's job is.
My name is Chow, and I am a junior and an art history major here at Stanford University. I first got involved in this project last spring when I was one of the students in a class that was taught by Hilary, a curator of contemporary art here at the Cantor Art Center. The class was really focused on discussing the ways in which we can present these works of art on loan from the SF MoMA. The students who were in the class were involved in discussing how we wanted to place the objects in the galleries. We came up with the 4 themes of this exhibition, which are the body, the urban space, the object, and the imagination. And through this class, we were involved in discussing different ways in which we could present artwork to the viewers that would allow viewers to make connections between work from different periods, different artists, that all discuss and are in dialogue with this idea of the machine age and the human's relation to the machine age. For example, 2 of the artworks that we discussed and really wanted to place in relation to one another is these 2 right here, this work by art entitled Human Concretion, and this work by Diego Rivera, both of which really exemplify the dialogue that we're interested in creating between different works of art, and also looking at the way in which different artists and different works of art interpreted this relationship between flesh and metal. For example, this art right here, the materiality of it is very machine age, and the surfaces are very evocative of industry and the metallic progress of industry. But while the very organic forms of this shape, of this work, really suggests the human and the human body and the human form. And the same is true of the Rivera, in my opinion. While the painting itself can be interpreted as a simple depiction of trees and rocks and a landscape, the way in which Rivera has really incorporated human forms and human figures into the shapes really suggests this intersectionality and this dialogue between the human and the non-human aspects of flesh and metal.
This collaboration has meant a lot to all of us. We collaborate all the time, and we are especially grateful because as we look at these young students who come and look at the work, I can't help but think that 30-some years ago, there was a young graduate student here who was doing his first exhibition at the Cantor Art Center, then known as the Stanford University Museum, and that was the fabulous young graduate student named Neil Benitez. And so in many ways, we feel really proud that Stanford has been a part of his history and his trajectory as being such an extraordinary curator and museum director. So please join me in welcoming Neil.
Thanks, Connie. It's great to be here, personally and professionally. I think the partnership that Stanford and the Cantor and SF MoMA have had and will be expanding, I'll say a word about that, is something we all really love. It's such a great opportunity for us to work together. So Flesh and Metal today, and the curators will speak about it in a second, is one in a series of exhibitions and outdoor projects, a variety of different kinds of educational projects that the museum has undertaken in the last 6 months. The museum closed for construction right at the end of May, just at the beginning of the summer. And we took it as an opportunity for us to think some new thoughts about what our museum might be in this community. Museums historically have been places that in a sense became the stewards, if you will, of great works of art. That a work of art comes into the museum's collection, and our responsibility as curators, and conservators, and directors, and all the professional staff is to manage those collections and take good care of the works that are entrusted to you as an institution. And that's been the history of museums, and not just in this country, but certainly it's the tradition in Western Europe as well. still want to be the great stewards that we must be. These things are entrusted to us and we have to take good care of them. But there's also an opportunity for us to strike up a different kind of relationship with the public, with our visitors, with universities and students. And so when it came time for us to close the building, we had been thinking about how we were going to look at this period of transition at SF MoMA, this 2.5-year period when we're closed. And we came to the conclusion that we should try to experiment to really test the idea of a notion that you might characterize as a museum without walls. That perhaps we could be more than just a building. The museum, of course, is a building, but maybe we can be something more than that. And so we've taken on a number of projects. The first one was, and it's still on view, is the Zwirner Field, which will be up for it'll be up for next May, in late May. And then we organized an exhibition with the Contemporary Jewish Museum. Just in this month, this is the third show we've actually opened. We have Benitez works at the Legion of Honor in San Francisco. Just last week, Project Los Altos opened in Los Altos, where we installed work by 8 artists around the town of Los Altos. Some indoors, some outdoors, and then of course this week here at Stanford with Flesh and Metal. So it's a kind of interesting experiment. I think we're learning a lot. I think we're trying to be as generous and open as we can possibly be, and that's a kind of psychological mission that we want to project into the future as we open the building in 2016. Really test some new ideas and be as open and as accessible as we can possibly be. The relationship between Stanford and Cantor and SF MoMA is really a strong one. Of course, one key link in our relationship has to do with the Anderson collection. Uncle Anderson, among the greatest patrons of our museum in art history in terms of giving works of art to us. Arguably one of the 5 most important pictures in our entire collection is our great Rauschenberg Hall collection. One of the great combine pictures that Rauschenberg made. And we have a great group of popular works, Johns and Lichtenstein, wonderful, wonderful works in our collection due to the Andersons. And of course, we're thrilled that the collection is going to come here, the larger part of the collection, which I guess is going to be opening buildings up out of the ground and very, very far along. We just took a look at it. And we'll open next September. That's thrilling. And our pop pictures, I'm very happy to say, will be coming to be on view here at the Cantor at the same time for a period of time, again, while we are closed. And then, of course, the Fisher collection is a big part of what's linking us right now. As I think everyone here knows, the Fisher collection is part of a very large expansion that we have underway. The 1,100 works of the Fisher collection will come to the museum when we open and will stay with us. In the meantime, Richard Serra's sequence is out here on the kind of patio outside the building, just between us and where the Anderson Museum will be, the Anderson collection will be. And that's there on a long-term loan. It will be part of our inaugural installation right off Howard Street. It will be one of the first works of art you see as you enter the museum. And we're happy to have it here in the meantime. I must say, very, very beautiful in the context that it is in right now. And then finally, we've been able to strike up another kind of relationship, and this is really with the art history program, which will have Fisher graduate research assistants working in the museum on an ongoing basis every year, studying our collection of Fisher works, doing research, hopefully speaking publicly and giving presentations. And I think it's a kind of great opportunity for us to obtain really valuable research assistance, but also to help, I think, train would-be future art historians and museum curators in work in a museum such as ours. So this is another great aspect of this relationship that I wouldn't say we're hoping to expand, we will expand with Stanford and with Cantor. So I think it's a great moment.
Like the SF MoMA collections themselves, we have an embarrassment of riches at the Cantor right now. So I guess we're going to need an expansion soon. Anyway, so the easiest way to get between the two galleries involved in Flesh and Metal is the one gallery is right to my right, the Seagull Gallery, and then if you just go along the Quay corridor, you'll come to the Halpern Gallery, and that's where the two sections of the exhibition are installed. What we also have on view is in the Patricia Beverly Gallery, which is a small space in front of the museum on the second floor, are 5 films entitled Silence, that's Silence with the NTS, in the Roaring 20s, Flesh and Metal on film. These films, all from the decade of the 1920s, will run continuously throughout the exhibition, and they were all made before the talkies and feature artists as actors whose works are in the show, or artists as directors whose works are in the show. 5 films. They represent basically precisionism, Dada, and surrealism. They're very interesting, and I think an interesting complement to the works of art that are on view. On January 30th, Thursday, Professor Nancy Troy, who, as we said, is a scholar in the work of Mondrian, will give a talk entitled The Afterlife of Pete Mondrian that considers how the work of Mondrian has been considered and presented by biographers, historians, curators, and others since his death in 1944. Last but not least, tours of the exhibition will be given on Saturdays at 3 by the Cantor Art Center docents. And as usual, everything that we offer here at the Cantor Art Center by way of public programs is free. And we invite you to come repeatedly to the museum to enjoy Flesh and Metal, Cabernet Weems, and our other exhibitions and installations. I just want to make a few thank yous. Of course, every project is a complicated one, no more so than working with a big museum like SF MoMA and our museum. So I really want to thank especially Patience Young, Sarah Cabot on our staff, Katie Clifford, Danny Meltzner, Anna Koster, Kim Mansfield, Michelle Ho, Lauren Brown, and Mona, and of course Connie. And if I've left anybody out, I apologize. Connie Wolf, our director. Everyone has been involved in this as in a highly professional manner for a long time. And of course, I also, again, want to thank the students in the museum class anatomy and exhibition in spring 2013 who made this a real joy. It was their ideas and suggestions that increased that is the staff's enthusiasm for the project and collaboration.
It's a great season coming up too. After this, we have Elizabeth Murray coming and Carlton Watkins and a lot of great things. And we even have the Richard Serra sculpture outside that is from the Fisher collection, which it's really hard to believe that huge, fabulous piece will move indoors into the lobby of SF MoMA, which just gives you a sense of how big and fabulous the new SF MoMA is going to be.
When I first got involved with Cantor as an undergraduate and freshman, my first week of school, I never would have dreamed of one day being able to work on a project as exciting as this one. After all, how many undergraduates can say that they worked on an exhibition that involves works from SF MoMA's permanent collection? And as of last spring, there are 5 students now who can say they've done so. The Cantor really is like a second home to me here at Stanford, and it's really projects like this one where students like me can feel really involved in the process of bringing art to our peers. That is what makes the Cantor such an incredible institution for teaching and learning. And I just want to, again, thank everyone at SF MoMA and everyone at the Cantor Art Center for making this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity possible for students like me. So on that note, thank you all so much for being here, and I really hope you enjoy the exhibition.
The Iris and B. Gerald Cantor Center for Visual Arts at Stanford University is free to visit and open to the public Wednesdays through Sundays, 11 to 5, and open late until 8 p.m. on Thursdays. Also, not to be missed, outside of the Cantor Arts Center is the wonderful Rodin Sculpture Garden, including the magnificent bronze Gates of Hell, and available for viewing anytime. If you have never been to this beautiful museum, you owe it to yourself to take a trip to Palo Alto and visit this local treasure. Thank you for watching Talk Art.